Okay, so once again, welcome to this library instruction session for Professor Brooks's class CI3338. And once again, I am Lynn Bostwick, one of the librarians here at the Round Rock Campus Library. And what I'm going to do next is share my screen because I have a PowerPoint, and then that will get us started. So just a moment here. Okay, can everyone see my screen? All right, yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm hoping that you are seeing, can you let me know which screen you're seeing? Are you seeing where it says like no notes and next slide? Or are you actually seeing the slide?
Seeing the slide, I'm seeing the slide that says library instruction CI3338 with the
Perfect.
Round Rock Campus Library icon.
Perfect, thank you so much. Okay, so welcome to Zoom library instruction. Now, this is a little new for me, and so I hope that this goes well, and what I'm hoping that you're going to get out of it is just how to get started with looking into those library resources that we have, the databases, so that you can find primary and secondary sources for your Journey Box assignment. Just so you know, a recording of either the session today, right now, or the session that we have a little later this morning will be made available for your reference. Now, please use chat for questions. I'll pause to answer them throughout the session. However, if I don't get to your question or it requires more time to answer, please put it along with your net ID or your Texas State email address on the assessment form, and I will show you where that form is. So maybe you're feeling a little like this right now. I know there's a lot going on, and then with summer one starting and thinking about, oh gosh, I've got to get going now with learning about the library. But what I am hoping is by the end of the session today, you will feel good about diving into our library databases and finding those sources that you need to complete your assignment. So by the end of the session today, you'll be able to locate ways to contact library staff for help, identify library research databases for finding primary and secondary sources, and then locate primary and secondary source materials by conducting database searches. And so real quick, for the Journey Box assignment, I have selected the topic of Quanah Parker, who's a historic Comanche chief. And so taking from that, I'm going to be using the search term Quanah Parker because we're going to take a look at 3 different databases. So that's going to be our search term that we're going to consistently use. Okay, we will come back to the PowerPoint later. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for the PowerPoint and bring up our Texas State website. Now, because this is being recorded and you can refer back to it later, really don't feel pressure to take a lot of notes and to write everything down because of course you can reference it again later. So if you just want to watch and follow along and then use chat if you have any questions, that'll be great. All right, so I want to first show you how to find the Round Rock Campus Library website. And please confirm though real quick, you can see the Texas State homepage, correct? Yes, okay. And so at the top of the page, library, and then here we are at the University Libraries page. And if I scroll down just a little bit, I'll go to Round Rock Campus Library. And then right here is a link to our Ask a Librarian at RRC page, which you can contact us through chat, phone, email, and text through this page. So here's chat, email, you can call us or you can text message us. And also we have our research consultation form right here. So let's say after this session today, if you would like some help with the databases or with searching, you can use this form to schedule a one-on-one consultation with one of the librarians here. And I'll show you my colleagues in just a moment. And we are more than happy to help you because all library staff here, we are here to help you be successful in your summer classes and beyond if you continue at Texas State. Okay, so that's a couple ways to contact us. Now, this message is temporary because you can see while we are physically closed, this is how we're having everybody contact us. But when that message is gone, if I scroll down just a little bit, Ask a Librarian is right here. And then you would just go to Ask an RRC Librarian. That's going to take you right back to the page where we just were. You can also contact us directly through this link, again, on the Round Rock Campus Library homepage. Here again, though, you'll see the library's phone number, text message number, and our email. But here is our direct contact information. So Anthony Guardado, he's our head librarian, and he's available Monday through Friday during the day, as am I. And then we have Wendy Thompson. She's our evening reference and instruction librarian. And right now she can be reached until 6:30 in the evening, Monday through Thursday. We also have Alan and Stephanie. They are our library assistants and they can also help you. But if you have research related questions, it's best for you to contact either, of course, me or Anthony or Wendy.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
There are a couple of my students who are coming from San Marcos, and I just want to let you guys know that your project is due with me, and this particular class is based in Round Rock. So feel free to use the Round Rock Library and Ms. Bostwick and the resources that you have here from this site and Round Rock. You don't necessarily have to worry about, oh, well, who am I supposed to talk to in San Marcos? Ms. Bostwick and I will be here for you while you're working on this project.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Brooks. Exactly. Okay, great. Okay, and so where I'm going to take you next is the course guide that is created specifically for this class. But before I do that, I want to just show you, if you go to this databases page, this is where you can access all the databases that the library provides, okay? So I want you to just know that this page is here. And that's because the course guide that I've created, it's providing you with really a way to get started. And it has select databases pulled from here, just in a convenient place for you to go to start. So don't forget that this is here. And also too, what I'm going to provide Professor Brooks that she can post for y'all in Canvas is a handout. So if you don't have time to go back and listen to this recording and find something, what I've done is provided a guide that helps to get you back to the Round Rock Campus Library homepage, how to get to your course guide, and also how to get to some of the databases that are going to be helpful for your assignment. But next we're going to go to guides. And the quickest way for y'all to find the course guide is to go by group, and then RRC Library Course Guides. And here's the one for CI 3338, Social Studies in the Elementary and Middle School for Professor Brooks. Okay, on this first tab, and see what we're gonna go through the tabs here and then we'll dive into searching the databases. Our status for summer session 1, at least we are physically closed with a tentative reopen date of July 3rd. So what I've included on this page for you is just our library services and our operations while we are physically closed. So I encourage you to take a moment to review this page, when you can. Okay, this next page, research databases. So we are going to be working from this page. I have select primary source databases over here. And then in this middle column, there are key education resources. So education databases that will be helpful for you, maybe not so much for this assignment, but possibly for other assignments. And then also general databases over here, we're going to take a look at one of these too. I do want to point out, because there are, even though I said it's just a sample of the databases we have, but there are a lot on here, I realize. But if you go all the way down to the bottom, here's this library databases by subject or type. And I did single out the primary sources historical, as well as Texas databases that could be helpful depending upon your topic, and also newspapers and news. And those would link right back to the databases on that database page that I showed you. And now here are primary source websites. So we've got Library of Congress, National Archives, and also I added the portal to Texas history because, again, depending upon your topic, it is a great source for primary, especially like images if you're looking for photographs. All of these also, I want to point out, have resources for educators specific to using primary sources with students that y'all might be interested in taking a look at as well. Now on this page, there are search tips, and I will demonstrate this first one using quotation marks, which is called phrase searching. And I'll talk more about that when I get to the databases. But I encourage y'all to also take a look at some of these different search strategies. And once you've got your topic in mind and you start searching in the databases, see if any of these might help you out. Because search techniques can often help your search to be much more efficient, so you don't take a lot of time searching and trying to find sources for your assignment. And then here is the Citations tab. And these are resources for you for APA. If you don't already have a Refworks account, I encourage you to consider creating one, because what Refworks does, you can export citations to it, and then it will generate a reference list for you in APA. And then also I have citation and style help here. So there's Slack tips for APA, writing and citation style guides, that's a library guide. Purdue OWL is a good site as well. Y'all might already be familiar with that. And then of course, we've got the writing centers and also Slack for Round Rock campus. We do have the style manuals. Now these are in print. However, I think that the 6th edition, we have an electronic version for electronic resources. But if you were interested in checking out one of these, see that first tab that I mentioned, our summer session one, and I've included information on how you can still access the print collection even though we're physically closed. And then lastly, I have a very short assessment that I'm going to ask y'all to complete at the end of the session. And again, here is where if you have a question, but I don't get to it, or it takes more time for me to answer, I'm going to ask you to put your question here along with your net ID or your Texas State email, and then I will email you. I'll follow up, okay? But this is so helpful. It is anonymous, so if you can take a moment to complete it, it would be great, and I'd be very thankful. All right, so this is your course guide, and I'm going to pause real quick and see. I don't believe I have any questions, but does anybody have a question right now? Just checking in. Okay, then we will get going with the research databases. Okay, so Quanah Parker, because he was a Comanche chief, one of the databases that I decided to search to see what I could find on him is this American Indians in History courses. Oh, it looks like, let me pause for one chat. Oh, that is a great question. It's about the Refworks account. So what you can do is the link where I just was on the citations page, if you click on this, it's going to take you to this page, and then you'll go here to follow these instructions for creating an account. But this is the page you'll work from. Here's another link here. And do know if you have any questions at all about Refworks or you want any help with Refworks, I am happy to meet with you over Zoom to get you started. It's real quick to get signed up with and get going with it. So just let me know. But this is one important thing. If you don't receive a confirmation email when you create an account, and again, you'll use your texasstate.edu email address, you are to contact Refworks and let them know, because you do want to make sure you have full functionality of this Refworks account. Oh, sorry, my light just turned off. It's very still. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Okay. All right, and so let's go to research databases and American Indian histories and cultures. Oh, hang on just a second, let me go back here. So when you are taking a look at the databases, once you have your topic, I encourage you to take a look at the description, the coverage, the format, because this information will tell you a lot about the databases and the information that you can find within it. So for instance, in this description, it says primary sources on American Indian history and culture. Perfect, right? Because I need primary sources. Also here under format, it says primary source, full text documents, images, and maps. Okay, so I feel good about using this database. The search is up here in the corner, and I'm going to put my quotes. And search for Quanah Parker. And I'm using quotes because I want this database to look for Quanah Parker together just like that. And that's kind of why this is called phrase searching, because if you have more than one word, so if you've got 2 words or 3 words and you want the database to find those words together, then you can put quotes around it. Now, I will have to say sometimes with databases, it can be a little trial and error. So see what your results look like when you use quotes versus when you don't, and then make that judgment about whether or not to use that search technique for that particular database. All right, so Quanah Parker, right, and Parker, it's kind of a common name, so I don't want to find a lot of results that might not be relevant to my topic if they're just finding the word Parker. Okay, so we have 13 results. And over here, notice document type. So I could limit these results. Let's say if I was just wanting to find a photograph, I could limit my results by checking that. But I did find here on this third result, this one, which is really great, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so these are pages from a printed book where the database found Quanah Parker's name. And for instance, on this first one where it says 2 hits, so his name would be mentioned twice. And we're going to take a look at this one, but I just want you to notice though first the title. So it's Service on the Indian Reservations, being the experiences of a special Indian agent while inspecting agencies and serving as agent for various tribes. So this is letting me know that this is the first-hand account of an agent. Okay, I can close that. And do you all see Quanah Parker's name is highlighted? I can make that bigger. But if I just read a little bit from here, it says, finally, Quanah Parker, the chief of the Comanches, rode out in front of the crowd and began to speak. I could see that his remarks were being received with many demonstrations of approval. So, right, that's that firsthand eyewitness account of somebody who actually saw Quanah Parker. So this would be considered a primary source for the Journey Box assignment. Now, this is great. So let's say I want this one. Well, up here, I can download the image. So I'm not going to click on it, but it would just be this page. Or I could download the entire chapter if for some reason I needed that entire chapter. And then I also want to show you right here, you've got citation and export. So if I wanted to cite this, I could copy and paste this, or I could export it to Refworks. So that's also why I'm encouraging y'all to create a Refworks account. But also notice too, this is a lot of information here, but this isn't already in an APA format. Okay, so if you copied and pasted it, you would need to make sure that it follows the APA rules for punctuation, capitalization, all of that business. So if you export it though to Refworks, you can already select APA for your style and it will help you to format it. But I will say, and I'll say this again, these auto-generated citations, they are time savers, but they are notorious for being incorrect. So please don't get points off your assignment because you didn't take the time to clean up your citations. Okay, so let's go back out of here. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you real quick is, remember we had photographs here. We just looked at a printed book, but I saw earlier that there's actually a photograph of Quanah Parker in here that I could also use for the assignment. So here's the image of Quanah Parker, which would work. I could download this image again and then also get the citation or export it to Refworks. So from this database, I've already found 2 primary sources. And again, right here is citation and export. Okay, so the next database I want to show you is on the primary source website, Library of Congress. Before we get started with this, I just want to pause for a sec and see, were there any questions about the last database? Okay. Okay. So Library of Congress is a great place to go for primary sources. But instead of searching digital collections, the entire collections, I'm going to limit it to photo prints and drawings. And this time, I'm not going to use quotes, because when I did quotes before and used the phrase searching, I noticed that it did take out a couple of the images that might have been helpful for my assignment. And again, it was, instead of having 15 results, I had 13, but still, if you're not getting many results, do, test different search techniques and make sure you don't eliminate something that you could use for your assignment. So here is Quanah Parker. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you. Okay. And so here he is in his full dress, which is, I think, so cool to see. I just think this is an amazing image. And so let's say if I wanted this for my assignment, I could download it. But then it's also important to cite. And if I scroll down, here we go with cite this item. and I can copy and paste this. And then here again is the warning that it's automatically generated. It might not be complete or accurate. So library of
I just verified that image is the image on the cover of Empire of the Summer Moon.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yes.
Cool. I'm so glad you mentioned that too. That yeah, Empire Summer of the Moon, it's an intense book, but it's all about Quanah Parker and that time in history. So that's so cool. All right. So I'm going to show you one last database, and then we'll go back to citations real quick, and then we'll be finished here. I know we're approaching 9:30. Okay, so back to research databases. Let's take a look at Jstor. And again, for Jstor, it has full text articles, but it also has primary sources and images. So some databases will be primarily secondary sources, some will be a mix, and some will be really just primary sources. So that's why I encourage y'all to look at the description and format. So Jstor opens to the advanced search, and again, we're going to use quotes. And because I know I'm looking for an article, I want to find an article that has been written about Quanah Parker, I'm going to narrow my results to just articles. If I don't do that, like Professor Brooks just mentioned Empire of the Summer Moon, I might see a lot of book reviews come up about that book, and that's not going to be helpful for my assignment. And so this first one here, Famous Historical Indians, Quanah Parker, it's from 1970. So it's an older article, but as we'll see, this is written about Quanah Parker, right? So this author, he wasn't there present when Quanah Parker was alive. So if I wanted to use this for my assignment, I could download the PDF. And then over here is where you can find the citation information. Excuse me. And I can copy this, but then I can also export to Refworks. Okay, so any questions about Library of Congress or Jstor? Okay, and lastly, again, for citations, if you go to Refworks and you click here, here is where you will go to create an account. So I just wanted to make sure you all saw that. Okay, and one last reminder for the assessment, if you don't mind completing this, it's pretty short, but it's super helpful for me. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for this. We'll go back to the PowerPoint and wrap up. Okay, well, thank you all so much for your attention today. And I wish you all the best with finding resources for your assignment. I hope you feel comfortable now with at least taking a step forward and diving into those library databases, but know that we're here to help you. So if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to contact us. And thank you so much for your time and your attention and for attending today. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Bostwick. I appreciate this because I don't think I could even come close to as in-depth